Okay. Hi, guys, and welcome to another podcast. Good to be back. Thank you very much, who's in the live chat, who's been waiting for the show. And thank you to everyone who's going to be watching or listening later on as well. We appreciate all of you being here. Today, we've got a lot to talk about, and obviously at the end of today's episode we will be doing the meme review as usual. So if you want to stick around for the meme review, please stay till the end. But in the beginning, we've got some serious stuff to get out of the way. But to help me navigate through some of that serious stuff, I've got Kushal Mehra. Kushal, welcome.
Namaste Sham, namaste everyone. Let's get started.
Okay, so we know at this point, obviously, what's happened in France. In the last week or so, about 4 people have been murdered in France. One, Samuel Paty in Paris, and 3 other people in Nice quite recently. There was another attack, I think, recently, but thankfully nobody got killed. And one of the things, Kushal, that's been pretty, interesting, has been the way that Macron has responded to these attacks. Because I remembered when Macron was first elected, he was so eager, he was so willing and eager to take on somebody like a Donald Trump and throw down with Donald Trump, that he became, in 2017, I think it was when he came around, he very quickly became like a favorite of a lot of these sort of left liberal kind of people. And everybody was wishing that I wish we had a leader like Emmanuel Macron or something like that. But his response in these attacks has been pretty interesting and obviously very encouraging. He said stuff like, we respect all differences in a spirit of peace, but we will always be on the side of human dignity and universal values. He said, we will never give up the cartoons depicting Muhammad, and Islamists will never have France's future. He said that there's a serious problem of Islamic separatism in France. And he also said that, the Muslim population in France is in danger of creating a counterculture within France. Like, all of these things are things that you would not think like a sort of a favorite of the left liberals to say. And he went, I don't know if it was his decision, but there was also instances where the Charlie Hebdo cartoons were broadcast on many government buildings around France. So, I mean, that's a pretty ballsy response, any way you want to take it. So what has been your reaction to the way Macron has responded?
I think it's not unexpected.
Do
I
you
was
really think so?
expecting.
The reason I think that it is slightly unexpected is because he was, I think it is, well, okay, maybe it was not unexpected for you, but why do you think it has really taken a lot of like these left liberal people by surprise, who were firmly in the Macron camp, and now they're just like slowly distancing themselves away from him?
He was always a centrist politician when it comes to the left wing politics in France. So we have to maybe because I've been studying French politics, so I'm not surprised. Because
Right.
I mean, surprised to whom? To the French people or to us? That should be the criteria first. So as far as I'm concerned, I was really not surprised. I think Macron was never a far left guy.
Yeah.
There is a far left party in France. Macron does not belong to that far left party.
Yeah.
There is a far right party and there is a right wing party, and then there is a far left party and a left wing party. So Macron was always center left. Macron would be someone who actually falls into the old classical left wing centrist mold, where there are some lines they still don't believe in crossing. There are some non-negotiables that they still don't believe, and freedom of speech is one of them, where basically, as the French वो क्या वो liberty fraternity जो भी है उनका वो
Égalité, fraternité, liberté.
Yeah, so they believe in those three concepts, and it's as simple as that, and they don't care about it. They've always maintained that they'll stand for those principles, and it is what it is. I think I was not surprised. What to me the surprise has not been Macron's response. To me, the surprise has been the response to the attacks and the coverage outside France.
Yes.
That has been the surprise to me. To me, the surprise has been the way BBC covered it.
Yes.
To me, the surprise has been the way New York Times covered it. To me, the surprise has been the way the left wing globally has spoken about it.
Yeah.
Now that's a surprise. Nothing else is a surprise.
Yeah, that's true. What has also been interesting, and we'll come to the sort of the coverage of it and what people have said about it. But what has been obviously one thing that has obviously not surprised me is how many of these sort of wannabe Khalifa people have reacted to what Macron has said. Obviously, you had Erdogan who got extremely angry, and then you know how every product that is made in America or that is made somewhere else has like a Chinese version, like a Chinese knockoff version. So you have Erdogan, who is the wannabe Khalifa of the Islamic world, and then you have the Chinese knockoff version of the wannabe Khalifa, which is Imran Khan, who is basically the Chinese knockoff version of that Khalifa. So Imran Khan was also very angry, which is obviously hilarious to see. And then you had people like that Malaysian idiot who were saying that people have the right to be angry and kill millions
Mahathir.
of French people. Mahathir, people have the right to be angry and kill millions of French people for the massacres of the past or whatever. And
Hmm.
it's and what's been funny is that so you have Macron who's responded the way he has. He said, "Look, whatever happens, we will not give up our liberal secular values." Then you had these what do you call it, wannabe Khalifas who are so butthurt that somebody has said something about a religious figure. And then you have the third kind of people. You have the sort of secular liberal people, like you said. The response that has been outside of of France, that how people have reacted like outside of France. And one of these responses was great that I really want to share. This is from, this is the reason I wanted to share this guy's response as well, is because this guy is like the go-to guy. This is the point person when it comes to India for many foreign news organizations. Like when they want to understand what's going on in India, this is the first guy they'll go to many times. And this is, Sadanand Dhume. So Sadanand Dhume goes, if you vociferously support the right to draw Muhammad cartoons in France, but go nuts if someone draws a disrespectful cartoon of the goddess Kali, then you aren't a warrior for free speech. You're merely a Muslim bashing Hindu supremacist. Now, on the face of it, this point looks very good and very smart and very secular and very liberal. But the thing is, won't you agree, Kushal, that there's a difference between an ankle sprain and a full-blown malignant brain tumor? Right. There's a difference. There's a difference in degree. There's a difference between some people getting angry on Twitter and abusing somebody's mother. There's a difference between that, and there's a difference between beheading and mass killing a bunch of people. Like there's a massive difference. And I've been seeing people trying to bend over backwards, just trying so hard to somehow equate the fact that Hindus getting angry on social media and Hindus abusing people on social media is basically exactly the same as you going and beheading someone or killing or doing some kind of mass killings. And there's been plenty of comments like that. I remember Zainab madam had a couple of really interesting takes about that as well. And that she said that, oh yeah, I don't support the killing of these people, but people need to understand that drawing cartoons of the prophet is just as bad as killing someone. And I think to myself, like, what is your brain process like where you have to think that drawing a cartoon is the same thing as murdering someone? Like, what is going on in your brain when you think that?
It's very simple. I don't know why people have a problem in condemning any of these things.
Yeah.
We can do a quantitative analysis that now if somebody would say, is there beheading in every sect in the world? The answer naturally should be no.
Yeah.
Even if there is a beheading, there are beheadings and then there are beheadings. I know it sounds crazy.
Right.
Now, ancient Christians used to behead at that time. They got over that practice. Now, if
Right.
somebody would say, does Christianity have that concept? Maybe it does, but they don't do it today. They got over their barbarism, right?
Yeah.
So they got over this stupidity. Now, if somebody would do a Google search and they'll be like, oh, look at this tribal area in India. Somebody beheaded someone for witchcraft.
Yeah.
Like you have found. But then when you are doing a quantitative analysis and when you're doing a trend, you have to look at a trend which has been following from 708,
Yeah.
AD or the 700 common era, jo bhi jinko bolna hai, up to now. And there is a continuous trend where beheadings are used as a tool of torturing, bullying someone, and that's only done by a particular ideology, and
Yeah.
that is the ideology of Islamism. Having said that, what has that got to do with Hindus outraging on Twitter? I've never understood.
Yeah.
Now, why does everything have to be in comparison to something?
Be equated. Yeah.
Now, I'll give you an example. Let's say if there was a discussion where there was a discussion on Hindu outrage on Twitter,
Hmm.
right? Why do you need to bring out the beheading of the other side? You can discuss the outrage on Twitter by itself as a subject, right?
Yeah.
So why can't you discuss beheadings as a subject independently and forget about what Hindus do for a
Yeah.
change?
Yeah.
But no, there is this, see, and this comes from this trope. And see, who came up with this qualification criteria? The left did.
Yeah.
अरे किसने decide किया?
Well,
कौन होता?
the problem is that they've created, they've banged the drum and they've beaten it they've tried to beat it into everyone's heads that every religion is equal, every religious ideology is basically exactly the same. So they have to now justify that point. They have then spent all the rest of the time trying to justify the point that they've made that, oh, since every religion is the same, that means that every religious extremism or every religious intolerance is also exactly the same, which means that Hindus outraging on Twitter or Hindus abusing somebody's mother or Hindus abusing somebody's sister on Twitter has to be exactly the same as beheadings and mass killings, because we've already made the point. We've spent years making the point that every religious ideology is exactly the same. So if outraging on Twitter is exactly not the same as beheadings and mass killings, then our original point that we spent so many years making, it completely goes down the drain. That's the problem, right?
Yeah, but that's what I've always said. I've used this analogy so many times, even when I've debated ex-Muslims, and I've told them this very simple thing. I've said, you have a cancer, we have a common cold. Now, just because you have a cancer and you're getting chemotherapy, you want us to get chemotherapy. What kind of a stupid solution is this? I'm not going to get a chemotherapy. I'm going to get the treatment for a common cold when I have a common cold. I'm going to get a treatment for fever when I have fever. There is no universal solution. There is a horses for courses discussion. And when it comes to cow lynching, we have to discuss it. I believe more than cow lynching, cow stealing is a problem in India. And it is a serious problem. And India's problems stem from India being a small, limited, bad law and order state. And it is what it is. Why can't we face the facts in life? India has a law and order problem. What is happening right now is a direct case of Islamists trying to intimidate people, where they are very clear that we will not tolerate any insult of our beloved Prophet.
Right.
Now, if you're not going to tolerate that, well, fine. You can live in a country where you're the only people. You can't expect people of other societies who have other value sets to respect your demands. If you don't like what the French do, you don't need to live in France. Go somewhere else. Don't stay with the French people. And to say, I mean, Zen of Sikandar goes on and says, Charlie Hebdo has not done this. Oh, behan, kabhi padh le wo magazine ko?
Charlie Hebdo has been sued by Catholic organizations like 13 or 14 times or something like that.
They have not spared anyone. They have not spared Hinduism. They have not spared Christianity. Oh, ma, उन्होंने तो अर्धवान को नहीं छोड़ा. वो नया वाला फोटो देखा अर्धवान का. So what nonsense are these people talking about? See, the problem is they have nothing to say. And when you have nothing to say, you come up with shit. These people are coming up with shit because they literally have nothing to say.
Yeah.
I mean,
one other thing that sort of is very interesting, and it almost feels like it hasn't changed in almost 80 years or almost 100 years. So we remember what the Khilafat movement was about, that Gandhiji agreed to. The whole Khilafat movement was about itni dur something is happening, and Indian Muslims felt the need to absolutely participate in it, raise their voices about it, and be angry against the British about it. And what happened in India, what happened, we saw that news of what happened in Bhopal, right? I think you had the video for it. And with what happened in Bhopal, there was a big rally that was taken out in Bhopal against the French president about what he said about French Muslims. And then you had like a gigantic rally that was taken out in Dhaka, Bangladesh, about what the French president said about the French Muslims in French society. But you have a gigantic population of Muslims in India. Obviously, there was a video of Bhindi Bazaar as well, and many like Muslim shops as well, where they've put Macron's face on like the ground so they can walk on it and they can like drive their cars on it or something. So you have a big, relatively large population of Muslims in India, Muslims in Pakistan, Muslims in Bangladesh that are almost more angry about what Macron has said than the French Muslims themselves. And it's very reminiscent of like what happened during the Khilafat movement.
They are angry, first of all, because they know they can be angry in these countries
Yeah.
and get away with it.
Yeah.
Let's just say it as it is. Two, they have every right to put Macron's photo in their shops on the floor.
Yes.
On the road, I don't know. That is public property.
Yes.
On the road, I don't know the laws about sticking and dirtying roads. That I don't know about. But see, this is the thing about free speech. You can wipe your ass
Yeah.
with Macron's
photo. Yep.
That's how free speech works.
Yeah.
And somebody can reciprocate it to you. If you don't like how freedom of expression works, how this idea is centered around, get the hell out of France.
Yeah.
Who told you to go and live in that country? Arey Baba, you will go to their country and you will
Yeah.
tell them how they're supposed to live. I mean,
Yeah.
are you guys cuckoo?
Yeah. And the biggest problem there is the biggest problem there is that if European society in general sort of decided no, that we have certain inalienable values that we will stick with, that we will stand by no matter what, and whoever comes into our societies has to also abide by these values that we have decided for hundreds of years that are absolutely completely worth defending. And I remember when the Charlie Hebdo thing happened back in 2015, then Jonathan Chait, I think, wrote something that I really liked, and it always struck with me, and I have it written down here somewhere. But he said something like, on the one hand, you have religious extremists in Europe or the United States, wherever, who say that you should not. On the one hand, you have religious extremists who should not threaten people who offend their beliefs. On the other hand, nobody should offend their beliefs. So this is like the liberal belief. And then they say that the right to blasphemy should exist, but only in theory. So the line separating these two positions is very thin. So you have the religious extremists on the one hand who are saying, if you offend my religious beliefs, I will harm you. I will do violence against you. And then on the other hand, you have like the liberal class in these societies that say, you should not harm people for offending liberal beliefs, offending religious beliefs, but at the same time, you should also not offend religious beliefs. So basically, the conclusion of both what the extremists are saying and what these liberals are saying ends up being the same, even though the liberals do not condone the violence. But the point that they're making ends up being the same, because they're both saying, do not offend religious beliefs. So what kind of, and that I feel like is the problem, is a big problem in these societies where, these ideas, these bad ideas about free speech and about curbing free speech, they have this triple layer of protection, right? The first layer of protection is obviously from the religious extremists who go out and actually kill people. The second layer of protection is moderate Muslims who don't agree with obviously killing people, but they still believe that offending somebody's religion or leaving somebody's religion should be illegal under law. And then you have the third layer of protection, which is the liberals that are saying that, oh, well, you should not be killing people, but you should also not be offending religious beliefs. So these terrible ideas have this like detergent style 3-layer of protection. And that is the 3-layer of protection that is pretty difficult to get through at the moment. Right?
Okay, first let us deal with this. My sentiments are hurt business.
Right.
Okay. Now, this is the most pathetic argument I have ever heard in my life. Okay, your sentiments are hurt. So what?
Yeah.
I mean, my sentiments are hurt daily.
Yeah.
My sentiments are hurt daily when I listen, hear the voice of the azan.
Yeah.
What am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to go and behead someone there? Am I supposed to bomb them? What?
Yeah.
My sentiments are hurt when I read religious texts. What am I supposed to do? Go and murder all religious people. My sentiments are hurt when I listen to some bad music. What am I supposed to do?
Well,
Go
that's what
and
my
attack the
sentiments are hurt
Christian?
is such a broad point, though, right? My sentiments can get hurt at anything. Like
Yeah,
my sentiments can get hurt if somebody says something about my favorite sports person, my favorite actor, my favorite. Like I can say that I feel. There's a lot of like Sushant Singh Rajput fans out there that probably can say that we feel as strongly about Sushant Singh as some people feel about their religious figures. They can say that. So should we like
yeah.
stop talking about him?
It has never been about hurt sentiments. It is
Yeah.
a asymmetrical situation which is always about religious sentiments.
Yeah.
And now you can add this cult of political leadership in India, especially, I mean, what has happened with Samir Thakkar in Maharashtra?
Yeah.
He is in jail, and this is
Yeah.
not just in Maharashtra. You have constant FIRs filed pan India, irrespective of the political party, because you criticize the leader.
Yeah.
Boss, do people realize that Donald Trump was called an orange orangutan by Bill Maher?
Bill Maher. And the max
Yes.
Donald Trump could do is sue him. That's it. That's the max he could do. He couldn't throw him
Yeah.
in jail. Yeah.
Yes. And what nonsense is all of this?
Yeah.
See, and then people say free speech is a Western construct. Yes, it is a Western construct. It is a better idea.
Yeah. It
Religious
is a
people
good
just
idea. It's a good
constantly
idea.
want to be boycotted.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
just don't get it. My sentiments are hurt. I mean, my sentiments are hurt when people eat Karela.
Yeah. Exactly. My sentiments are hurt every time I watch a Shah Rukh Khan movie. So should we ban Shah Rukh
Yeah.
Khan movies?
I mean, what the hell? What is this argument? I mean, I still remember the day when Christopher Hitchens was, speaking, and somebody came and took Hitchens, one of the famous hit slaps, as they call it. So she said, "Oh, the way you have criticized my religion, my sentiments are hurt." And Hitchens was like this, and then he goes up, "Ma'am, I'm still waiting for you to make a point." I
Exactly.
mean, what the hell? Are you crazy? My sentiments are hurt. I mean, who cares?
Yeah, and I think the biggest problem with that also is that you've Kushal, you've talked about on the show about the heckler's veto very often, about how
Yes.
that's a big problem when it comes to free speech. But with this particular situation, it goes even a step further. It becomes like the assassin's veto, right? Because the guy who is the most, the sort of most intolerant section of society, of even the most intolerant section even of Islamic society, they get to now decide what is allowed and what is not allowed in a quote unquote free society. And that is what the assassin's veto is. So the person who holds the knife, or the person who is holding the gun, is now getting to decide what is allowed and what is not allowed. And then if that actually happens, then what the hell is the point of a free society? What the hell is the point of
Exactly
having a
what
free
I had
society?
faced in my discussion with Ifra Jan too, and I had told her ki, how can you be the victim and the bully at the same
At the
time?
same time.
You
Yeah.
can't have it both ways. On one hand, you say you're the victim. On the other hand, you basically play the bully. I mean, what the hell? You
Yeah.
can't have it both ways. And I don't care if your sentiments are hurt. I don't care. You know what? Let me tell you how I deal with people I don't like. I don't talk to them. I don't watch them. I have I have a pathological hatred for Bollywood. Guess what? I don't watch Bollywood.
Yeah.
I ignore it. I
Yeah.
read books. I listen to podcasts. Guess what? I don't like a podcast. I stop listening to it. I don't
Yeah.
like a sports program. I stop watching it. I don't like something. I don't watch it. Second, the great Atal Bihari Vajpayee, and I use the word great with full responsibility because I think he was a great man, a great
Yeah.
leader. Vajpayee ji said it in Hindi. एक पुस्तक का जवाब एक पुस्तक होता है.
Yeah.
एक टी शर्ट का जवाब एक टी शर्ट होता है.
Yeah. Exactly.
एक
And
वीडियो
that
का जवाब एक वीडियो होता है. So if you don't like an idea, you don't like a movie, you make your own movie. You don't like a podcast, you make your own podcast. You don't like a t-shirt, you make your own t-shirt.
Yeah.
You don't like a bloody book, you write your own book.
Yeah.
You don't shut the other person down.
Yeah. And what's interesting is now there are so many parallels with like France and India. And because of that, I feel like because of what is happening in France now, what is happening with India is kind of also coming to, uh, the world's attention in a way, because essentially, I think what is happening in India today is very similar to what is happening in France. Is that they both of these countries are facing the prospect of being split into these rival countries, or two rival nations within one nation. One nation that is under all circumstances held accountable to secular laws, held accountable to liberal laws, and then you have another nation within that same nation that is not held accountable to those laws. That whenever we talk about that nation, people say, don't talk about them, don't offend them, don't bother them, we have to make sure that we protect them and their feelings. So then what happens as a result of that is that that nation within a nation is run on the laws of Sharia, it's run on the laws of blasphemy, and it genuinely creates a very dangerous situation where you have two countries within one country. And because it's happening now in France, people are starting to realize it around the world, but it's been happening in India for a while. And we've kind of just let it happen. And now that you have certain sections of society and even a prime minister and a political party to an extent that is pushing against it, now they're being called fascists. Because what Macron is doing and what Macron is saying is not very, very different from what Modi has been saying and doing for a little while. So are we going to call Macron a fascist now? Is Macron a fascist now for saying that what happened in France and what is happening with French Muslim society is a dangerous trend? Does that make him a fascist, or are we going to really do something about it?
Look, first of all, people need to realize that the bloody blasphemy law in India came because of the heckler's veto.
Exactly.
When Sita ki Rasoi was answered by a Rangila Rasool, is when the blasphemy law came. You know what should have happened?
It did not come because of Sita ki Rasoi, remember?
Yes, it came because of Rangila Rasool. No matter how much you try to avoid it, that's a fact of life.
Yep.
You cannot bow down. Look, I'm sorry. If this is your way of dealing, then I'm sorry to say, anybody who believes in this kind of a world, I don't want to live with that person.
Yeah.
I want to live in a society where each and every idea is freaking criticized, dissected. Criticize my ideas, dissect what I believe in.
Yeah.
I'm open to it.
Yeah.
But this is no way. As far as this two nations within the nation, this stems from the soft bigotry of low expectations.
Yeah.
You know, the most bigoted, third-rate people will believe that Muslims are incapable of reform.
Yeah.
Because you are infantilizing Muslims and you are insulting all those civilized Muslims across the world who do not react.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry to say this, if Muslim sentiments are hurt, so what?
And that's the thing. See, you hit on a good point right there, because the thing is that, like, if you had a section of the Muslim population that was like, you know what, I'm sick and tired of this, like, my culture or people within my culture that are trying to stop this free speech. I think our culture needs to kind of evolve and come to the level where, we're sort of considered equal to Western culture or whatever. If there are people within Islamic society or Muslim societies as well, what incentive do they really have to speak, or what encouragement, or why will they even feel confident to speak up? Because A, like I said, you have the religious extremists. B, you have even the moderates that believe that free speech should not exist and you should not be offending religion. And C, their last refuge of these sort of reformist, modernist Muslims, which they would have thought would be the liberals and the secular people. Even they're like, nay, we believe in free speech, but don't say anything about the Muslim people. Where will what space is left for these reformist Muslims? Where will they go? Who will support them? Who will stand up for them? Nobody. That's why they don't speak. Right?
Yeah, they don't speak up is because they are scared of beheading. And this is why liberals and free
and they're also
speech-loving
scared of
people
and they're
across
also
the
scared
world
of being
need to
pilloried.
get united against this idea.
Yeah. Well, they're scared of, obviously, they're scared of beheadings, but
And
they're
this
also
is where
scared
the
of being
left
like
has lost their
pilloried as
plot.
anti-Muslim. Yeah. Yeah. Because if they speak up, they'll be like, if
I mean,
you
how
look at
can
somebody
you be
like Majid
anti-Muslim,
Nawaz.
Baba?
Yeah. Yeah. Like if you look at somebody like Majid Nawaz, who like speaks up, who considers himself a Muslim, and he speaks up against Islamism, he's routinely, by the most liberal secular people in Britain and around the world, he's routinely called a anti-Muslim bigot. Who it was ACLU, right? ACLU or Southern Poverty Law Center, one of those two was the
Southern
one
Poverty
that
Law
called
Center.
yeah, Southern Poverty Law Center called him like an anti-Muslim bigot or an anti-Muslim activist, and he sued them and he won. But like when you have an organization that is as cherished and as celebrated as the bloody Southern Poverty Law Center, that is telling a Muslim who just wants reform in his society, he says, I am a Muslim, I want to be part of the Muslim world, I just want certain things to be changed. Just for that, if you can be called a anti-Muslim bigot by such a respected organization, then what is your incentive to speak? Why will you speak? Right?
Right, this is the problem, and this is where the left has failed miserably.
Yeah.
The left has become so much in cahoots with Islamists
Yeah.
for political power. They don't realize what they are doing. They are destroying the very concept of liberty and fraternity. It is very easy to call the non-fascist a fascist because you know he's not going to respond.
Yeah.
But it's very hard to call the real fascist a fascist because the real threat of fascism is there.
Yeah.
Because the real fascist is beheading you.
Yeah.
It is very easy to call Trump a fascist. It is very easy to call Modi a fascist
Yeah.
because you know he's not going to respond.
Yeah.
But this is the thing. And let me tell you, kudos to that bloody French government who put up the photo of Charlie
Yeah,
Hebdo.
man, that's balls. Yeah.
Those are ballsy people.
Balls of
And-
steel, man. Yeah.
And this is what these people need to realize who are staying there. You can kill the last person in France. They
Yeah.
will still put that photo up. Because they are fierce believers in freedom.
Yeah.
There are two societies that I've come to respect when it comes to this matter. One is the American society. One is the French society.
Yeah.
Fierce freedom lovers. They don't care. You don't like our way, get out of here.
Yeah.
They will
Americans are
not
better.
bow down.
Americans are better in one way than French. That Americans allow Holocaust denial as well, so they're better
Yes.
in that way. Yeah.
Yes. And this is what I'm saying. And let me tell you, the same French people, Hindus, yaad rakhna, they will go after your gods too.
Yeah.
So tabhi nahi ghigi bol jaye tumhari.
Yeah,
That's how they are.
That's what Charlie Hebdo is gonna do. That they're gonna do it one
Yes.
day. Yeah. They're gonna
They-
do it one
they
day. You
have
just have to
done it.
live with it.
Charlie Hebdo has put up a Kali photo. People don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't know.
exactly.
They are like that. And this is my point. I personally am not even a fan of Charlie Hebdo. I thought their cartoons are very mediocre.
Yeah.
I don't watch them. I don't read them. I don't subscribe to them. Nothing. But I'm telling you, they are equal opportunity offenders.
True.
They see a hole where somebody is getting poked and hurt. They put their hand ram into that hole, and they say, "Yele."
Yeah.
They are a hammer. They just need a nail. So
Yeah.
you don't become the nail. You know how you deal with people like Charlie Hebdo? You just stay silent.
Yeah.
Say
Exactly.
nothing.
That's all you do.
You just ignore them. They just go away.
Yeah.
You ignore them. See, they are a hammer looking for a nail.
just tell me, would as many people have known about Charlie Hebdo in the world if that attack had not have happened? Nobody would have known what the hell Charlie Hebdo is. Nobody would have known. But now they're global heroes of free expression because of what happened to them. That's the thing. Like if you want something to not become big, if you want something to go away, just ignore them. Like if the
Yes.
world, if the Muslim world had if those terrorists had just ignored Charlie Hebdo, nobody would have known what the hell Charlie Hebdo is. But because of what those terrorists did, the whole world knows what Charlie Hebdo is. So
And
that's
let
the
me
lesson.
give you a nice psychological lesson. You know, even when you go to jail, the worst criminals also fear one thing and only one thing.
Hmm.
They're like, "Ye mat karna mere saath." That is solitary confinement.
Yep.
Human beings are a social animal.
Yeah.
We feed on attention. You know, when you don't give attention to an attention monger, it crushes them.
Yeah.
And this is a lesson to all Hindus. समझदार को इशारा काफी होता है.
Yeah. All right. So before we go
अगर
on
आपको
to yeah, go
सीखना
on.
है, ignore करो.
Before we go on to meme review, I want to discuss a few super chat questions. So we had some pretty Pretty good super chat questions. So, guys, if you have super chat questions for us, give them to us right now, and we'll try and take a few. So here's one from. Uh, so there's one from Nilesh Pawar. It's just thank you very much for the super chat, Nilesh. If you had a question, let us know as well. This is one from Chirant Nadig. Chirant says, I was surprised Modi condemned what happened in France, but ignored what happened in Bangalore. And I feel like that's kind of a little bit of a trend with Modi ji. Modi ji wants to be a statesman. So whenever something big happens outside, Modi ji likes to comment. But when something happens in India, Modi ji doesn't like to comment. I don't remember if Modi ji said anything about Kamlesh Tiwari. Maybe he did, but
And
maybe I missed it.
I don't remember.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe I missed it, but as far as I know, and I might be wrong, if I'm wrong, I'll hold my hands up. But as far as I know, I don't think he personally said anything about Kamlesh Tiwari, which is hypocritical, 100% hypocritical. If he was absolutely quiet about what happened to Kamlesh Tiwari, but he's now talking about terrorism in France, it's 100% hypocritical. And that's something worth thinking about. Raghav J said, LOL, cancer versus common cold. Akshat Guruji says, how can we bring absolute freedom of speech in India and discuss uniform civil code? Arey baap, do sawal de diye. So let's tackle the first one about bringing in free speech in India. And this is something that the non-left struggles with it a little bit as well, right, Kushal? I mean, you've seen it. I've seen it to an extent as well.
Non-left actively likes restriction of free speech.
Yeah. And one of the reasons that they always offer, and you touched on it earlier when you were talking about law and order, but that's the reason that they often offer. They say that, well, we can't have unrestricted free speech in India because the state doesn't have the capacity to enforce proper free speech in India. And that's a fair point. But at the same time, ये बोल के वो भाग जाते हैं. Like, they don't want to put pressure on the government. They don't want to say to the government, hey guys, fix the bloody law and order situation because I want to have the right to speak my mind in India. They don't want to say that. They just want to say state doesn't have the capacity. Bye-bye.
And they run away. Then they would not want to control speech outside India when Hinduism is criticized.
Yes.
Wahan to law and order hai na. Why do you worry about it there?
Exactly.
Same people who give this answer also have a problem when some people outside India criticize Hinduism.
Yeah.
They don't like criticism of Hinduism. They should be honest. They should say it openly. We are Abrahamic Hindus. We don't like criticism of Hinduism. And we want to stop it, just like the Islamists want to stop criticism of Islam. Be open. Say you're Abrahamic. No problem.
Yeah. So there's that two-headed problem. The first three-headed problem, I suppose. The first problem, obviously, is that there's an amount of extremism within a particular culture in India where they do not want to allow free criticism or free expression around their religious philosophies. Second, you have the sort of who are supported in a large measure by the liberal secular intelligentsia in India as well. Second problem you have, which is from the non-left, which is they also do not want criticism of Hinduism and Hindu ideas, and so they also tacitly kind of support curbs on free expression. And then obviously we have the third problem, which is the state does not have the capacity. The state does not at this moment have that monopoly on violence that we talk about to make sure that if somebody is upset at speech, that is the extent of it. All they can do is be upset. They cannot take the law into their own hands and go and start causing a riot.
Look, every time I have never heard this argument about law and order. As far as law and order is concerned, it's very simple. Law and order, again, whose fault is it? Who is supposed to fix law and order? State governments and central governments, right?
Yep.
What nonsense. So the non-left votes for Narendra Modi. The non-left votes for BJP governments in the state. What have they done? I'll tell you, one chief minister has done a fantastic job. Check how many new cops have been hired by Sri Yogi Adityanath. That's a win. That's a
exactly what I'm saying.
By a good man who has improved law and order.
Yep.
So, second point, on this whole point of, if sometimes we are just criticizing the criticism. No problem.
Yeah.
You don't want to criticize the criticism. You said you should not criticize me.
Yeah.
That is not
It's very
criticizing.
smart.
That is
Yeah.
I'm sorry. They criticize you, you criticize them. Thumbs up.
Yeah.
Keep going. Keep going all day long. They put your photo, you put their photo, they put your photo, you put their photo. Keep doing that.
Yeah.
It's all fair. Everything is fair. But the point is, let everybody do it.
Yeah.
Honestly, to be very honest, if you want my personal opinion, I think atheists who lick the Quran, who hump the Bible, who desecrate Hindu gods and goddesses, are really, they need to get a life.
Yeah.
They really need to get a life. I mean, somebody might think in the atheistic pantheon that this is a great idea. I think it's a pathetic idea.
Yeah.
I would never do it. I think it's a useless way. As if doing that is going to convince someone and change their religion. Bullshit.
Yeah.
It's not going to change. And religious people who will always use that example to say that's why we need to curb free speech, you are wrong too.
Yeah.
I don't care what you want to do. एक दूसरे के पीछे पड़े रहो, लगे रहो, as long as you don't want to shut each other's speech.
Yeah.
I don't care. सर मारो एक दूसरे को, जो करना है करो.
Yeah. So basically, to answer, I suppose, who was it? Akshat's question. Basically, to answer Akshat's question, well, we need at some level a societal agreement that free speech is basic. It needs to be a basic human right. And we haven't come to that consensus yet. Hopefully, we will come to that consensus sooner rather than later. But that consensus needs to be reached, that this is a basic human right. And by curbing that basic human right, you're basically hurting Indian society. And secondly, the state needs to develop that capacity. You look at, Kushal gave the example of Uttar Pradesh. Delhi में इतने riot हुए CA के नाम पर, उत्तर प्रदेश में नहीं हुए इस तरह के riot. क्यों नहीं हुए? We need to ask क्यों नहीं हुए? क्यों नहीं हुए? क्योंकि Yogi Adityanath had shit under control. Now you can call Yogi Adityanath a fascist and a dictator and a this and that as much as you want, but the fact of the matter is that those kinds of riots did not happen in Uttar Pradesh. Yeah, Uttar Pradesh, maybe the law and order, the law mechanism takes things a little bit too far, and that's another thing we need to probably discuss. But at the same time, you cannot disagree with the fact that those kinds of riots did not happen. So the state needs to develop that capacity, and people need to put pressure on the state to develop that capacity. Na left wing pressure dalna chahta hai, na right wing pressure dalna chahta hai. So the government is just ghosting, basically.
See, everybody in this country's unfortunate history has always had misplaced priorities.
Yeah.
Our priority should have been free markets in the 1950s. We chose socialism. Our priority should have been free speech. We chose restricted speech with reasonable restrictions. I don't know what the hell that means. Our priority should have been... what the hell, man? How can you have free speech and reasonable restrictions?
Yeah.
Makes no sense. Our priorities should have been all those things. But we have never... See, we are a country of hurt sentiments. We are a country of misplaced priorities.
Yeah.
We will always outrage about the worst thing. There is a boy, Samir Thakkar, languishing in jail right now because he criticized the Chief Minister of Maharashtra.
Yep.
Nobody is fighting for him. Only you and I will raise the voice in this podcast.
You tell this story to anybody in the United States, and they'll say that's unbelievable. Like I don't believe that's a real story, but that is a real story happening in a democratic country. Then
journalists are picked up in every state in India and just put in jail and heckled. Odisha mein recently that journalist was picked up. Kya naam tha? I'm so sorry, I forgot the name. Naveen Patnaik ke under. That guy was picked up just like that, yaar. I mean, what are we talking about? India, and get over this. India is a fascist state. I say this with full responsibility. Indian laws are fascist laws. You should read the laws in India. It will scare the living daylights out of you.
Yeah.
You and I, Ranga is right when he says I am not in jail is simply because the Indian state, in its wisdom, in courts, wisdom is in court, decided not to jail me.
Yep.
There is not a single day when I don't think that when will my number come living in India.
Yeah.
But I can't stop myself because I'm a hopeless person. I have to speak up.
Yeah. Then there's another super chat from Aditya Chaturvedi. I don't think there's a question, but Aditya, if you had a question, let us know as well. Kapil Gund had a question. He said, I am victim, so I'm going to show up with 100 more people, burn houses and destroy public property. ये कहाँ का victimhood है? सही बात है.
No, he's being sarcastic,
I
obviously.
know. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, सही बात है. Like, what kind of, how can you be a victim and the bully at the same time? But some people
वही तो है
are
ना
able
यार,
to
यही
manage
तो
it.
this business of hurt sentiments is
Yeah.
so annoying. I mean,
Yeah.
my sentiments are hurt.
My sentiments are hurt.
Yeah, I'm sick and tired of their sentiments.
Anand Sridhar had a question. Liberal Muslims need to write a new book. The world needs more people like Majid Nawaz. Reform, reform, reform. Well, I mean,
मैं बात
that's,
बोलूं,
yeah.
Majid Nawaz को, who listens to Majid Nawaz in UK? Hey, tell me what his popularity is amongst Muslims. Let's be honest here.
Among Muslims, none. Zero. That's what I'm
Zero.
saying. That's what I'm saying.
He's like, he's for the entertainment of white people.
But that's the problem, nah? The problem is that if the liberals in the UK had been like, all right, this guy, stands for free speech, this guy stands for liberal values just like us, and within a society that has a problem with these liberal values and problem with this free speech, then Majid Nawaz would not have been a sideline figure. He has been sidelined by ostensibly people that he considered his own people, like his own, you know what I mean, right? He has been sidelined by his own people.
Today or day before yesterday, I read an article where Glenn Greenwald, who's actually a Islamist apologist, who is that guy who broke the Edward Snowden stories, he's fought with Sam Harris over Islam so many times. Even he got sidelined by the regressive left. Imagine
by Intercept, yeah.
Glenn Greenwald, the Intercept is something he formed himself. उसने बना, उसको निकाल दिया. What the hell?
Yeah.
And this is the problem with religious mindsets.
Yeah.
This purity and pollution mindset. What is happening in the left right now is exactly what happens with religious people. It's purity and pollution. मेरी टी-शर्ट तेरी टी-शर्ट से ज्यादा अच्छी है. देख मेरा सफेद तेरे सफेद से ज्यादा सफेद है. My victimhood is more victimhood than yours.
Yeah. There's another one from just R. R says, how do we deal with uncles and with huge influences on Hindus, and they advocate not to have free speech because it leads to cancel culture, or it's not an Indian concept? Well, all you can do is call those uncles stupid and you keep doing what you're doing. That's all you can do. Uncle, आपको कुछ पता नहीं है, आप साइड में बैठिए उधर अपना चाय पकौड़े खाइए. Let us do our thing. Uncles will not control the future of India. The people coming after the uncles will control the future of India. So let uncles sit and fart.
अंकल को अर्नब के स्टाइल में बोलेंगे ना, ए तुम मेरा बात सुनो.
Listen, fucker, listen. Listen to me, fucker. You should also call an uncle called fucker, and you should just explain to him.
वो वैसा, ए पाकिस्तानी fucker, you listen to me fucker.
एक पॉलिटिकल कमेंटेटर ढूंढ लिया, उसको रोज रोज बुला के गालियां देते रहो.
मेरी बात सुन फकर.
बात सुन मेरी फकर. That's amazing. Karan Khatwani has a super chat. Karan Khatwani says, Kushal, my feelings are hurt by looking at your beard. Are you going to apologize?
ओए, इतनी बढ़िया दाढ़ी है, देखो, salt and pepper, more salt, less pepper.
More salt, less pepper.
इतनी बढ़िया दाढ़ी, तुम जल कुकड़े हो.
जल कुकड़े हो, जल रहे हो जल कुकड़े. Blinky Blue, Justice for Blinky, his question is in the chat. What is his question? Kushal, do you think apostasy, wildfire in the Arab world, and the strides made by the Arab leaders with Israel and others offer a ray of hope for free speech in the world? Kafi broad question.
Okay, let me tell you, and I know most people don't believe this, but there is an apostasy and blasphemy wildfire in the Arab world. It is simmering below the surface. It's happening in Pakistan also. I can tell you, I get so many messages on Facebook, especially. I don't know what's with Pakistanis and Facebook. I get so many
Indians
messages
and Facebook
from
also.
Pakistan.
सब साले वहीं बैठे रहते हैं.
So Pakistanis messaging me on Facebook and they say, हम आपका channel देखते हैं भाईजान, हम भी आपके जैसे नास्तिक हैं. मैंने बोला बढ़िया है, लगे रहो. फिर मैं उनको एंड में बोल देता हूँ, ज्यादा नहीं लग जाना, नहीं तो काट देंगे तुमको उधर. So But let me tell you, it is growing, and this is where I feel the ex-Muslim movement is valuable and they have done good work. ये मानना पड़ेगा उन सारे लड़कों को. Although आजकल ex-Muslim movements में क्या हो रहा है, क्या चालू है मेरे को समझ नहीं पड़ रहा है.
आजकल वो ज्यादा दूसरों पे फोकस नहीं कर पा रहे क्योंकि वो अपने में ही बिजी है. Busy with themselves.
वो जो उनमें एक पता नहीं कौन है, वो एक दिन एक होता है, फिर दूसरे दिन बोलता है माइंड चेंज, कैंसिल. So I don't know about that, but if you look at the amount of downloads of the Arabic version of the God Delusion, just go and check the number. You guys will get the shock of your life. क्या भर के download होती है Richard Dawkins की book.
Not to well, you know, those are obviously downloads that can be tracked. Not to mention the illegal PDFs that are being downloaded and all the other ways that the book is being read and downloaded, right?
Oh no, God Delusion in Arabic is for free.
Oh, okay.
Free. Richard Dawkins ने ही free कर दी. And you know what is happening is another guy I need to give a shout out to, and he is a really good guy. Faisal Sayyid Al-Muttar. He is translating Western liberal enlightenment values wali books into Arabic, and he's circulating it in the Arab world. He's like, you guys don't realize Arab world में लोग पढ़ते ही नहीं है. They don't even read these books. So what that guy is doing is literally sitting down and creating a translation project where he's sending. You know what Hindus should be doing? This.
Yeah.
They should be translating their dharmic texts into Arabic and giving
sending
those
it.
values if they really were interested. Look at the effort this one guy does, and he makes tangible changes. Sitting in America, he's a Iraqi. He was from Baghdad. He came to America. This is the kind of work you need. Dogged pursuit. But हमारे लोगों को वो नहीं करना, सिर्फ वो जो आर करना है, रंडी रोना.
आर करना है. Where is this? What do you, Mr. DJFLYHI, Abe, what do you think of Count Dankula's situation in terms of sentiments being heard? As long as he's not calling for violence or anything like that, I don't see the problem. I do remember that he got arrested because apparently that's the last time I heard of Count Dankula, to be perfectly honest. I don't know about anything he's done since then, but that was the last time I've heard of him, that he got arrested by the Scottish police because he apparently taught his dog how to do a Nazi salute. Now that dog basically just raises his hand, and people thought it was a Nazi salute that he taught his dog to do a Nazi salute. It was just a meme. Dude, this is a real thing. You think this is a joke? This is a real thing.
This is too funny.
His dog, basically what he does is his dog raises his hand like this, and people thought it was a Nazi salute, and he joked that I taught my dog how to do a Nazi salute. And so police came and arrested him.
That's so funny.
Police came and arrested him. Yeah.
That's so funny.
So that's the actual story. He actually got arrested. Now I don't know what happened to him after that or what he's done after that. If he's done some actually really bad shit, I don't really know. That was the last time I heard of Count Dankula. But honestly, since then, that is really not that big of an issue for me. Even if somebody wants to be racist, and even if somebody wants to spout racist bullshit, they have the right to spout that racist bullshit. Now they might get completely discredited, and that's something they'll have to live with. But they have the right to say what they want to say. In terms, even if because a lot of people in India feel like a lot of these comedians and a lot of these stand-up comics who are supposed to be the sort of leading lights of the Indian intellectual movement, apparently, I don't know for what reason, but they're considered to be
leading lights of the Indian intellectual movement.
They treat themselves and others treat them as like the comedy is the highest form of dissent in a fascist society. That's the kind of shit that they say to each other. Like that liberal circle jerk is next level. The amount of jerking that's going on there. But basically, what I'm saying is that those comedians feel like they feel the need, and they feel that they have the moral obligation to come out and like talk about Hindu culture and talk about Hindu gods and goddesses and make fun of them. They can do that, and they have the right to do that. And
these are the speaking truth to power tuchas, na?
Speaking truth to power to chess. Exactly. Then comes Jitendra Salgaonkar. Jitendra is saying greetings to all. शर्मा जी आपके जैसा बॉडी बनाने के लिए कितने घंटे वर्कआउट करना है यार? मैं तो इतना लेजी आदमी हूँ. I do yoga and I go to the gym twice a week. That's it. That's literally all I do. Yoga and go to the gym. And hopefully once I'm able to, I'll get back to doing jiu-jitsu. But right now that's completely impossible. Yeah.
तू जहाँ रहता है उधर तो तू जुजित्सु भूल जा.
वो तो यार, at least I feel like till the end of 2021 there's going to be no jiu-jitsu practice here.
देख वो वैक्सीन आ भी गया ना, और अगर ट्रम्प जीत गया तो बोलेंगे ये वैक्सीन गलत है.
वैक्सीन फेक है, फेक वैक्सीन.
फेक वैक्सीन.
फेक वैक्सीन है ये. अरे where is this show? नहीं, Srijan Thakur has a super chat saying, how can I come on the show? Atheist here. Well, you can come on the show by being extremely sexually aroused. Aditya Jape says, Kushal, you are like Javed Akhtar, a fake atheist but a proud Hindu/Muslim. बताइए कैसे allegation लगाए जा रहे हैं आज?
देखो, I have been exposed.
I've been exposed. Kushal मेरा exposed.
सनसनीखेज खबर. सुन
फखर सुन खबर सुन. Vishnu Anil Kumar has a question. Muslim countries don't seem to have a problem against China. I guess money can heal hurt feelings. This is a wonderful comment. This is not really a question, but this is a brilliant comment. I guess money can heal hurt feelings. That's what that Mahathir guy also said. That says that Muslims have the right to kill people. Somebody asked him that you keep talking about minorities in India, but you don't talk about China. He says we're not in a position to talk about China. We're dependent on them for all of our imports and exports, so we can't really talk about. Like he came out and said it. मैंने कहा चलो कम से कम बंदा honest तो है. At least the dude is honest. Jagannathan S has a question. Should Hindus have kept quiet about Sita ki rasoi and not written Rangila Rasool, since we are so big on ignoring people like Charlie Hebdo? I don't know if Hindus did you think
maybe
Hindus
we would not have had the blasphemy law.
Yeah.
Maybe we would not have had the blasphemy law.
Yeah. True. That's true. At least maybe we wouldn't have had that stupid law.
It's not that. See, these are binary situations, but in today's world, if you ignore certain people, it's better. Or if you don't want to ignore them, you create a counter. I'll give you an example. Look, Armin created those t-shirts. The answer should have been a t-shirt. Guess who made a t-shirt?
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah.
Nobody else did.
Yeah, exactly. That's what needs to happen essentially. Chirant Nadig had another question, said the BJP allowed all this kind of nonsense for Shiv Sena. If they don't course correct, do you think Modi is concerned it may be BJP after Modi Shah? What do you mean by that? Do you mean that the BJP will turn into Shiv Sena after Modi Shah?
I don't know. Look, all I am saying is that politicians are very smart people. They sense what the people care about. The Honorable Prime Minister and Home Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi and Mr. Amit Shah, know nobody in this country gives a shit about free speech.
Yeah.
They are very happy with curbed free speech.
Yeah.
It is not an electoral issue. Mr. Modi and Mr. Shah are not going to lose an election because they have 295A on the books.
Yep.
It's just the way it is. We will have to get this one removed like we decriminalized gay sex.
Yeah.
We will have to give them strategic arguments, not political arguments.
Yep.
That's my answer.
Yeah, that's a good answer. There's a question from Akshat. Akshat is saying, recommend a book on how socialism effed India, starting a political commentary channel, advice, non-left. Arey, मैं तो कहता हूँ ना, buy Harsh Madhusudan and Rajiv Mantri's new book, New Idea of India. Go buy that. That's a great book. It's out now. And Indian...
Can I give a good recommendation?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, look, on my podcast, I actually have a lot of book book authors coming. I chat with a lot of book authors. So I have created a playlist. There are around 34 book interviews that I have done. There are obviously the book Sham has mentioned, and there are many other books also. I would recommend go and check them, watch those, and pick some. So Sham has recommended one, I would say, but study the history of Venezuela. You want to hate socialism? Study Venezuela. Study Cuba.
Yeah. Study all those countries where it has come and failed. All of those countries are good examples. Kushal, is this the same bookshelf which Rahul Sonia are using? This is a question from Rishi Sharma. I don't know what exactly.
Rahul Sonia, do not read books. I actually read books.
Yeah.
Samjhe?
Yeah, true. Yeah. Okay. So now we're almost out of time, but I want to quickly still do like a 10-15 minute meme review. So because Blinky Blue has been very kind to find some memes for us to review. So we'll try and do that now. So let's try and do this week's meme review. And what I'm going to start doing, guys, from next week is for next week's meme review, so that it doesn't get too boring and repetitive. I'm going to give you in the beginning of the week 4 or 5 topics that are relevant during the week, and I want to see memes related to those 4 or 5 topics. So that ways we can keep the memes fresh, and we can keep the memes current, and we can stop them from getting stale or boring. Okay, so this is from who? This is from Jitendra Salgaonkar. Jitendra Salgaonkar, Muslim countries congratulating Pakistan for boycotting French products. Pakistan who cannot afford.
क्या फोटो है यार? क्या फोटो है? टोपी क्या बना के रखी है? What is this?
Oh, amazing! It's so amazing. What a great photo this is. This is definitely happy Arnab.
Happy Arnab.
Definitely happy Arnab. इतनी मेहनत की है, बताइए. What a great sacrifice the great nation of Pakistan has made for the Ummah. Amazing. By boycotting products that they can't afford anyway. It's amazing. Okay, so this is a meme that comes to us from Aditya 235K. Aditya 235K is Simon Go Back 1929 colorized. इज्जत से समझा रहा हूँ. Get out. Have you seen this video?
हाँ, ये वो था ना, वो जो डायरेक्टर था उसके घर पे गया मीडिया वाला.
इज्जत से समझा रहा हूँ. Get out. This is good. I like this. Extremely relatable meme. So this can get an okay Arnab. This can definitely get an okay Arnab. Oh, this is a good meme. I remember I saw it earlier this week, and I really want to share this. This is from Bethesda. Bethesda, if you don't know, Kushal is a video game company. He's a big video game developer. So this is from Bethesda, which is a huge video game developer. So look at this. Bethesda, Australia, New Zealand. Bethesda, France. Bethesda, Brazil. Look at Bethesda, Middle East. Where's your rainbow flag, bhaiya? Why are you not gay? Yeah. Bhaiya, all hail woke capitalism. What can we say?
Yeah.
Yeah. Woke capitalism is our real god. That's who we all bow to. This is live from a protest in Pakistan. This is from Equal Elderberry.
Bad French kiss.
Man French toast, man French fries, and ban French kiss. Ban all 3.
Oh God, क्या लोग हैं यार, क्या बोले यार.
Happy Arnab for sure.
Yes.
Definitely.
French kiss.
Ban French kiss. Oh, this is also a hashtag relatable meme. Maybe this comes to us from FMC_01. He says, "Media trial on Ria is so wrong. Let's smash the patriarchy. Let's media trial Arnab on TRP case." कौन समझाया अब इनको यार? यही तो बात है. ये तो बात है. Like what has happened to Arnab Goswami and the way people have taken so much happiness in what has happened to Arnab Goswami, it really tells you a lot, doesn't it? Like have you followed that news at all, Kushal?
नहीं यार, मैं तो ये बॉलीवुड का पूरा देख ही नहीं रहा हूँ, मेरे को बड़ा दिमाग
With what has happened to Arnab?
हाँ, जो हो रहा है गलत हो रहा है. What is happening with him is wrong. It's pure vendetta.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. And it's funny that it's not being recognized and realized. This meme, so that meme gets okay, Arnab. This comes to us from Delicious Peanut 215. The most secular boy ever. Show me the most secular boy. Sham Secular Sharma. Nope. I said the most secular boy. Secular dog. Nope. Muhammad Ram Jesus Singh. I thought Chanakya's father name was Vishnu Gupta. Perfection. Wow, what a name. Muhammad Ram Jesus Singh. Amazing. This has to be the most secular boy. I'm sorry, I have to relinquish my crown. I'll settle for second most secular boy. It's okay. Muhammad Ram Jesus Singh can get the most secular. So this also is hashtag relatable, and it can get a okay Arnab. This comes to us from Parth 13579. Parth 13579. When you post a dank meme on religion of peace, oh my god. ये तो जैसे कहते हैं ना, ये तो होना ही था. So unfortunately, this is what happens. This is the reality that we are living in, and this is the reality that we're trying to change. Hopefully we can change it soon. This is a very relatable meme part. This gets a hashtag relatable okay Arnab. I like this one. Wait. I like this one. This comes to us from Blinky Blue. Blinky's meme is before Buri Sangat. After Buri Sangat. पूरी दाढ़ी सफेद कर दी. I like this one. Before Buri Sangat, after Buri Sangat.
ये साले ने मेरी पुरानी, जब मैं मोटा था तभी फोटो निकाल के बेशरम
फोटो निकाल के लगाई है.
आराम करो. नॉटी.
Sir, you are very naughty. बहुत naughty है sir. Good meme, Blinky. This gets a happy enough for sure.
Yes, happy enough. तालियां.
Good job, Blinky. This is also a good one. This comes from Vande_Matram14. This is from students in Karan Johar movies, students in Anurag Kashyap movies. This is really good. This is so accurate, man. This is so accurate. Nailed it.
Awesome.
Nailed it. हमारे 40 साल के स्टूडेंट्स को जरा देख लीजिए आप. 40-year-old वर्जिन हुआ करते थे अमेरिका में, इंडिया में 40-year-old स्टूडेंट्स हैं. So this is from Vande_Matram. Happy enough for you. Good meme.
Awesome.
Good meme. Good job. This comes from Blinky. Feeling old. Sham reaching 400k. Me who's been around since 15k. I raised that boy. Blinky. I appreciate the lasting support, man. Love you guys. Thanks so much for helping out with the show. And take a happy enough for that one. Okay. This is this is good. This is from, who is this? This comes to us from Kundan Rajput 77. Zainab Sikandar. The attacks on innocent people in France is highly condemnable. Deliberate attempts to insult Prophet is highly condemnable. You cannot justify either. Oh my God. I'll not be apologetic for being offended by the cartoons. I'll condemn the violence vehemently. Confused. Anga banga. Confused anga banga. ये वो मीम नहीं है. There's that meme of in Three Idiots, वो सीन नहीं है जब वो टीचर बोलता है आमिर खान से, अरे भाई कहना क्या चाह रहे हो? This is basically that meme. This is good. I like this one. This is from Kundan Rajput 77. Kundan Rajput, happy enough for you. Then we know again एक article इस तरह का हमेशा निकल कर आता है. This is from Ritwik_008. 3 dead as woman beheaded in knife attack at French church. These knives, knives are being very naughty these days. तो क्या करें? Knives have no religion, trucks have no religion, guns have no religion, bullets have no religion, bombs have no religion. Nothing has any religion. So the biggest problem in the world, as we have discussed, as we have gained from the media, Kushal, obviously, biggest problem in the world is people with no religion killing other people, right?
Yeah.
That's the biggest issue. Okay, let's take 2 or 3 more and then we're out of here. Hindu Power says leftists be like अनुपम खेर यूएस में बैठ के मोदी की दलाली करता है. ध्रुव राठी जर्मनी में रहते हुए भी देश के बारे में इतना सोचता है. This is so good. I have to upvote it. I'm going to upvote it on my own subreddit. Good job. You can get an upvote. Good job. Well done. This is a good meme. This definitely gets a happier now. Well done. I like this meme. Then final 2 memes. Oh yeah, this is from The Wire. This comes from our illustrious media organization. This is from Ash Rags. Ash Rags ka meme hai The Wire. Bikaner. Hindu woman's family kill Muslim man ahead of her arranged marriage. 21-year-old woman who shot dead outside her college in Ballabgarh in Haryana's Faridabad district on Monday by a man against whom her family had filed a complaint. A video showing the crime has gone viral. समझ रहे हो ना? समझ रहे हो ना आप? क्या करें यार? The problem with this atheist violence is the biggest problem facing the world today. Yeah. Oh, this is another one of my. This is the last meme for the day. It's one of my favorite memes of the week. This is from SK Rabiul Islam, the most powerful king of India, Ravan, who fights for SC, ST, OBC Muslims against Arya Eurasian foreigners in Mahabharat era. मेरे को दो चीज का confusion है इस meme में. This meme comes to us from RCBIANNYC. So मेरे को 2 चीज का confusion है इस meme में. कुशल, पहली बात, महाभारत के टाइम पे मुसलमान कहाँ पर थे?
दूसरा ये उसके सर पे ये पेड़ क्यों उग रहा है?
दूसरी बात, ये पेड़ क्या है भाई इनके सर पे? और तीसरी बात, जरा रबीउल इस्लाम से जरा रावण का कास्ट कोई पूछ लेना जाके, लेकिन थोड़ा प्यार से पूछना, कहीं रबीउल हसन को शॉक वॉक ना लग जाए बहुत जोर से.
रबीउल बनेगा या अल्लाह.
Exactly. Somebody please ask Rabiul Islam what caste Ravan belonged to, and then if he answers, get back to us. So this is a fantastic meme as well. So this can get a happy earn up as well. So thanks again, guys. Thanks for sending in your memes. Next week, like I said, I will try and make sure to give you
Right? Sham किधर गायब हो गया? Can you guys hear Sham? Sham has frozen at my end. Okay, people in the live chat, tell me, can you hear Sham? Hello. Where did Sham go? Is he there? Live chat. You can't hear Sham. Okay. Let's see. I'll figure out when Sham comes back. I think Sham's internet has gone caboose. That's okay. So until then, I will show you guys something very entertaining. I will show you the most honest Beoda in the world. Wait. So let me entertain you guys. So watch this.
डेली पीते हैं,
डेली पीते हैं, सुबह शाम
जेल से आने के बाद फिर पीना स्टार्ट करते हैं.
डेली पीते हैं. कहाँ से लेते हैं तो आपको कैसे बता देंगे कि कहाँ से लेते हैं?
थोड़ा बताइए, हमको भी जानकारी हो, हमको भी थोड़ा जानकारी।
कैसे बता देंगे? एक तो हम वहाँ से पी के आते हैं, उसका भाई बीवी बाल बच्चा का हम जिंदगी खराब करेंगे, वो पाप किसको ढूंढना होगा?
तो आप जो अब भी पीते हैं, अब भी अगर पुलिस अरेस्ट कर ली तो फिर
क्या कर लेगा?
फिर 60-70 हजार खर्च हो जाएगा ना।
फेर देंगे, ठोक डालेंगे
इतना
उसको।
कमाई हो जाता है,
हाँ
पूरा कमाई तो आप जेल से बाहर निकलने में ही खर्च।
हाँ, चोरी नहीं चपाटी करते हैं, ईमानदारी पे है।
ईमानदारी का पीते हैं।
ईमानदारी का
जी।
पिए हैं।
लोग ईमानदारी का खाते हैं, आप ईमानदारी का।
हाँ, ईमानदारी का खाते हैं,
हाँ, ईमानदारी का पीते हैं।
पीते हैं। आगे बोलिए सर। एक बोतल 50 रुपए का।
कितना एमएल का? कितना छोटा वाला, बड़ा वाला, कितना रहता है?
ओ फूल
फुल एकदम
फुल।
50 रुपए का।
50 का।
देसी या कभी कभी विदेशी भी पी लेते हैं?
ओ विदेशी नहीं पीते हैं,
नहीं पीते हैं विदेशी।
विदेशी का पैसा कहाँ जुटेगा जो हम पी लेंगे?
60-70 हजार जुर्माना में खर्च कर देते हैं तो कैसे नहीं जुटेगा पैसा? ये जाएगा। खरीद के
बेंगलोर में
पीते हैं।
हर जगह पीते हैं। वहाँ पर 350 में फुल मिलता है।
350 विदेशी मिल जाता है
जी,
तो फिर यहाँ नहीं मिल पाता विदेशी।
यहाँ नहीं, यहाँ कोई सिस्टम ही नहीं है। वहाँ यहाँ पर कोई सिस्टम नहीं है सर,
शराब का पूरा सिस्टम ही खत्म कर दिया।
पूरा खत्म है। मेरे गांव में 50 दुकानदार था, महुआ बेचने वाले। किधरों से घूर के आते थे तो महुआ पीने हम जाते थे। सबसे पियक्कड़ हम है, लेकिन
सबसे
चोरी
पियक्कड़ हम
चपाटी
हैं।
में इधर उधर में नहीं है।
आपके गांव में कितने लोग दारू बेचते थे पहले?
पहले 17-18 आदमी।
अभी वो लोग क्या करता है?
कुछ नहीं,
बेरोजगार
पूरा
है।
सिस्टम खत्म।
All right. So I guess Sham's internet has gone totally bonkers. So how about this? I'm going to end the stream right now, guys. So if you like what Sham and I do over here, please subscribe, share, comment, leave the meme reviews. Leave the memes at Sham's subreddit. I'm going to be closing things today. If you like what I do, you can go on the Charbak podcast too. Actually, at 9 o'clock, I'm going to be doing my own monologue today. I'm going to be talking about why we need secularism. So you guys can, see me there on the live monologue over there on the Charbak podcast. Anyways, I'll wrap things up for today. I'm really sorry. I think Sham's internet has gone completely bonkers. So I'll see you guys next time whenever Sham and I have a podcast. Until then, namaste. Take care. Goodbye.